latest in a long line of front-engine Ferrari GT cars has arrived in the shape of the 812 Superfast. Designed to accommodate 2 people and a generous amount of luggage while also capable of spectacular performance, the 812 Superfast retains an element of tradition by sticking with a non-turbocharged engine, aimed squarely at wealthy buyers who don't want to compromise. Succeeding the F12, the 812 Superfast takes elements of that car, and the limited edition F12 DDF, and builds upon them to offer almost identical performance and handling but without sacrificing comfort or usability. The heart of the 812 is a 12-cylinder naturally aspirated engine, increased in capacity to 6.5 litre and mounted in the nose, but behind the front wheels for superior weight distribution. Despite the absence of turbochargers, the V12 unit delivers 800 metric horsepower, making it the most powerful series production Ferrari ever built. Despite this, the 812 also comes with a stop-start system as standard, helping to trim emissions in urban driving. As standard, the 812 Superfast is fitted with the same 7-speed dual-clutch gearbox as used on other Ferrari models and its predecessor, combining a fully automatic mode with the option to shift manually using wheel-mounted paddles. For this particular model, each ratio has been made shorter than before to boost acceleration. The combination of this incredibly powerful engine and highly efficient gearbox is remarkable, endowing the 812 with superlative acceleration even from higher speeds, as well as delivering a thrilling soundtrack to boot. A first for Ferrari on the 812 Superfast is the addition of electric power steering. Although contributing to a reduction in fuel consumption, the system also allows the addition of 2 driver aids dubbed Ferrari Peak Performance and Ferrari Power Oversteer, both of which adjust the amount of assistance at higher speeds to aid the driver in applying the ideal steering input. Although it retains the rear-wheel drive layout, the sophisticated traction and stability control, electronic differential and even rear-wheel steering are adjustable via the steering-mounted Manettino switch to suit the confidence of the driver and the road conditions, providing great reassurance. Despite the power on offer and the size of the 812's price tag, it is surprisingly undemanding to drive, at normal road speeds at least. The steering is highly accurate and helps to give the driving behavior of a much smaller car, and the linear delivery of the engine makes it very manageable. Grip levels are inevitably very high, but even if they are breached, the 812 is free of vices with the electronic aids on or off. Inside, the 812 is civilized for a car with such high performance. The seats are highly supportive, the glazed area is generous, giving a good view out, and the driving position is straightforward. Borrowing some of the latest infotainment technology from the GTC4 Lusso model is a welcome addition for the 812, although it uses a twin-screen display which is a little more complicated to use than the single-screen version. Ferrari's claims for the practical nature of the 812 are easily met, with the generous boot offering a well-shaped area and the option to divide it from the passenger cabin with a sturdy foldable panel. The only niggle being that those of a shorter stature may struggle to reach the handle to close the rear lid once opened. The verdict: Ferrari could have made just a few changes to the outgoing F12 model and still be met with enthusiasm, but the 812 Superfast is packed with improvements and innovations, showing that the famous marque has put significant effort into this model and moved it forwards in a number of significant areas. Expensive to buy and inevitably expensive to run, the 812 Superfast is nonetheless a spectacular machine without peer, and is unlikely to leave a lucky buyer anything other than completely thrilled. Good choice of engines, punchy diesels and characterful petrols, decent automatic gearbox option. The lineup of Citroën C3 Aircross engines is well judged. Customers have a choice of 4 petrol and 3 diesel engines. Petrol engines: despite developing 3 different power outputs, all 3 C3 Aircross petrol engines are based on the same 3-cylinder 1.2-litre pure test unit. The least powerful version is non-turbocharged and develops 82 horsepower and 118 Nm of torque, enough for a 0 to 62 mph time of 15.9 seconds and a top speed of 103 mph. Move up from this into the turbocharged PureTech 110 and, as the name suggests, you get 110 horsepower, 205 Nm of torque and an 11.3 second 0 to 62 mph time, 11.8 for the automatic. Top speed is 115 mph, while the automatic tops out at 114 mph. This engine provides enough go in and around town and on country roads, although frequent motorway drivers might want to consider the punchier 130 horsepower version. Like all of the C3 Aircross's 1.2-litre petrol engines, The 110 horsepower derivative is quiet and refined when cruising and has a characterful, if sometimes noisy, rumble when accelerating. The most powerful petrol engine on offer is the PureTech 130, packing 230 Nm of torque and a 10.4 second 0 to 62 mph time. Top speed is rated at 124 mph. Diesel engines. The 1.6-litre Blue Eddy turbocharged diesel engine is the sole diesel offering in the C3 Aircross and comes in two different power outputs, 100 and 120 horsepower. Opt for the former and you get 100 horsepower, 254 Nm of torque and a 0 to 62 mph time of 12.8 seconds, with top speed rated at 109 mph. For those that fancy a little more performance, the 120 horsepower version offers up 300 Nm of torque and 0 to 62 mph in 10.7 seconds. Top speed is 114 mph. The top of the range diesel is the one to get if you spend lots of time on motorways and offers plenty of torque and low down pulling power. Third gear provides plenty of flexibility and negates the need to work the manual gearbox hard. Gearbox options. The C3 Aircross is available with the 5-speed manual, standard on the 82 horsepower 1.2, 110 horsepower 1.2 and 100 horsepower 1.6, a 6-speed manual, standard on the 130 horsepower 1.2 and 120 horsepower 1.6, and a 6-speed automatic, optional on the 110 horsepower 1.2. Opt for the former and the gearbox feels easy to operate, although the throw is long and slack, meaning it's not particularly pleasant to use. The automatic version offers relatively smooth gear shifts and rarely leaves you in the wrong ratio. Engage the manual override mode and the auto is impressively responsive to changes, allowing the driver plenty of control should the need arise. Tidy on-road handling. Plenty of grip on offer. Surprisingly capable off-road. In the main, the C3 Aircross's handling is tidy and composed. It offers up reassuring levels of outright grip and agility when required, feeling noticeably better resolved than its C3 sister car. Excitement levels are understandably low, but it's a satisfying drive nonetheless. Tip the C3 Aircross into a bend and, while there's a fair degree of body roll, it never feels uncontrolled or unstable. The direct and well-weighted steering means it's easy to point the nose of the car exactly where you want it, with the nose washing wide predictably if you're carrying too much speed in. The turning circle is tight, plus thanks to a host of available parking aids, including sensors, rear view camera and bird's eye view cameras, it's not especially difficult to park either. The Venetian blind design on the rear three-quarter window looks like it could impair visibility from the outside, but doesn't get in the way too much once in the driver's seat. Sadly, the steering offers no real feel even when at the limit of grip or going off-road, the latter being something that the C3 Aircross is surprisingly good at. C3 Aircross has off-roading tech available as an optional extra on the C3 Aircross is grip control and hill descent assist technology. The former enables the driver to select different optimized driving modes depending on what surface they're on, with road, mud, sand and snow settings all included. The car's traction and stability software will then adapt to the relevant conditions and provide greater control over low grip surfaces. Hill Descent Assist is designed to allow the C3 Aircross to descend down steep inclines with minimal input from the driver. Comfortable standard driving position. Plenty of adjustment in seat and pedals. Lack of physical aircon controls a real hindrance. The Citroën C3 Aircross is a nice place to be with lots of neat design touches dotted around the interior. What's more, the French brand's tendency to use more premium feeling materials on the areas the driver uses most is refreshing, and adds a touch of quality to the interior. Other parts you're less likely to see or touch use cheaper, more plasticky materials. Drivers of all shapes and sizes shouldn't have any trouble getting comfortable behind the wheel with a good range of adjustment provided. The amount of flexibility in the steering wheel reach is particularly pleasing, as is the handy, but cheap-feeling, adjustable armrest. Note that it can be awkward operating the handbrake lever with said armrest set to certain positions. The biggest disappointment from behind the wheel is the lack of physical air conditioning controls on field trim cars upwards, expected to form the vast majority of sales. Drivers, or passengers, have to instead adjust aircon and heater settings using the fiddly 7.0-inch central touch screen. Bringing up the correct menu and trying to operate the small on-screen buttons is an unnecessary distraction when driving along, made worse by the often unresponsive touch screen. It's safest to ask your passenger to adjust the settings or wait until you're stationary at a set of red lights. Decent overall ride despite struggling over some surfaces. Acceptable levels of wind and road noise. Large and comfy seats are great for long journeys. The C3 Aircross is a comfortable car, yet its ride quality isn't as polished as it could be. When driven over decent road surfaces, its ride feels well judged, if a touch firmer than you might expect. However, the suspension often fails to comprehensively iron out sharp bumps or cracks in the road, which, ultimately, takes the edge off an otherwise perfectly comfortable ride quality. Interestingly, the ride improves when the car is fitted with Citroen's optional grip control and the accompanying off-road tires. However, while the driver's seat provides adequate adjustment levels, those in passenger seat may be disappointed to find a lack of height adjustment on the base. Because of this, those over around 5 feet 10 inches will find themselves sat exceptionally high up in the car and, on models with the panoramic sunroof fitted, will find their head brushing the ceiling. Road and wind noise levels are acceptable. However, both the petrol and diesel engines, especially the latter, can sound raucous when revved hard. Plenty of standard kit, even on base trim, cruise control, DAB radio and Bluetooth all standard. Plenty of customization options available. Standard Citroen C3 Aircross SUV equipment starting with the basic touch specification. Standard equipment includes 16-inch steel wheels, gloss black roof, does DAB radio with 4 speakers, USB and Bluetooth phone connectivity, lane departure warning, traffic sign recognition, coffee break alert, cruise control with speed limiter, manual aircon, front electric windows and automatic lights. Upgrade to the medium spec field trim, and, on top of what's included with touch models, you get 16-inch matrix alloy wheels, leather steering wheel, LED daytime running lights, fog lights, space saver spare wheel, Android Auto and Apple CarPlay compatibility, 7.0-inch color touch screen, electrically adjustable and heated door mirrors, additional 12-volt socket in the rear, dark tinted rear windows. Top of the range flare trim adds to feel spec with more kit, including 17-inch diamond cut forever alloy wheels, bi-tone roof, style pack in a choice of 4 colors, Citroen Connect emergency and assistance system, sat-nav, dual zone climate control, automatic windscreen wipers, front and rear electric windows, rear parking sensors, keyless entry and keyless ignition, sliding 60 hours 40 minutes split folding rear bench seat. Citroen C3 Aircross SUV. Optional extras. Customization plays a big part in the C3 Aircross's optional extras list, with a number of different style packs and colored roof options available on higher spec models. Citroen claims that there are 85 different color combinations on offer. Other optional extras include grip control with hill descent assist, C-handling section, wireless smartphone charging, park assist pack, bird's eye view parking display, automatic parking and blind spot monitoring techno pack, color head-up display, wireless smartphone charging and hi-fi system family pack, flat folding rear passenger seat and rear sun blind safety pack, including various items such as autonomous emergency braking, driver attention alert and autonomous high beam function. 5-star Euro NCAP safety rating, 2 ISOFIX points as standard. Strong range of available safety kit. Despite the car on which the C3 Aircross is based on, the regular Citroen C3, only achieving a 4-star Euro NCAP safety rating, the compact SUV gained the full 5 when tested at the end of 2017 thanks to the optional addition on autonomous emergency braking. Other clever safety kit includes a head-up display, speed sign recognition, automatic high-beam headlights, park assist, bird's eye view parking display, lane departure warning and blind spot monitoring. How many ISOFIX car seats can I fit in a Citroen C3 Aircross? Fitting 2 ISOFIX car seats in the C3 Aircross should be a piece of cake thanks to easy-to-access mountings. Helpfully, there should still be enough room for a third child in the middle seat, too. Class-leading boot space on offer, panoramic sunroof restricts front and rear headroom, lots of storage space and cubby holes providing you don't opt for the top spec and most sought-after flare trim car. Rear passenger headroom is ample. With the sunroof, however, it's severely restricted and taller adults, or kids, will find their head brushing against on resting on the roof. Rear legroom, meanwhile, is excellent, plus there's plenty of cubby holes dotted around the cabin for various bric-a-brac to be stored. Again, front passenger headroom is restricted by the panoramic sunroof and exceptionally high seating position, so bear this in mind if you frequently carry tall passengers around. It might be classed as an SUV, but the C3 Aircross doesn't have an especially big footprint, so parking shouldn't be a major issue. There's a host of parking aids on offer nonetheless, including a clever bird's eye view display of the vehicle and its surroundings to help with extra tight spaces. The Citroën C3 Aircross has been designed with practicality in mind, and this shows with the level of boot space on offer compared to its rivals. In standard configuration, the boot holds an impressive 410 liters of luggage. However, the rear seat row can also be slid forward in order to gain another 90 liters. What's more, there's a double-height boot floor to either increase outright space or create a flat loading bay, plus there's also the option of a folding passenger seat for storing extra long items.